Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials.
Good morning, it's 7:30 on Saturday 12th of September. Just making my way down to the land and, as usual, not quite sure what we'll get done today, but let's find out. Well, here we are down on the land. It's been a strange old week of wind and rain. I had hoped this weekend I'd be able to get the grass cut because, as you can see, we're getting some quite big growth now. But unfortunately, as you can probably also see, this is soaking wet, absolutely soaking wet. So I don't think we're going to get any of this grass cut. We'll see how we get on during the day if the sun does manage to come out, but I don't think it's going to manage to dry this out well enough for me to get it cut. You can see on there, it's just, the rain is still standing on the grass. Anyway, we'll get yourself into the cabin, get opened up, get the polytunnel opened up, and have a little catch up on what's been happening in there during the week. Well, first things first, I'm just filling up some water to go in the polytunnel. Made a quick cup of coffee, so while that water's filling up, I'll pop outside and we'll have a quick tour around the veg garden, or what's left of it, and the polytunnel. Well, polytunnel's opened. Let's have a quick whiz around the outside, this mixed bed of pumpkin and squash. Lots of growth, and believe it or not, it's still popping out flowers. Lots of them actually. There's some more coming there, but in terms of fruit, a bit disappointing in that we've got this larger one round here that had been nibbled at earlier on in the season, and we've got another one just tucked under here. But apart from that, not a lot going on. Jerusalem artichokes, I'm kind of just leaving them to do their thing. We'll see, I guess, what happens to those later on in the year, though we can't have that much time left to go, surely. Outside in the raised beds, potatoes, the new ones, putting on some very nice growth. Something was digging in this trough earlier in the week. I've had to cover it up, and I will be topping up some more soil into there. That last barrel, to be fair, they are ready to come out, but I've still got potatoes left from that middle barrel, and bizarrely, I don't know what this is, that potato seems to have come out of this barrel where something's been digging, and it's been transferred across to here. This was not here on Thursday when I came down to water the polytunnel, so I have no clue what can be doing that. That's really a bit bizarre, but it has definitely come out of here, out of this one. Strange, to say the least. The carrots doing very well, and I am going to pull some of those today. The other ones have been used up, so I'll do a little reveal of one of those pots. Onions doing very well. Some quite impressive growth on that second bucket over there. Squash, as with the other side of the field, that mixed bed, not a lot going on. There's that fruit down there which has been attacked to death, and then we've got a large one round this side, which at the moment has had one little nibble, but nothing dramatic. And that's it for that squash bed. Again, disappointing. Pumpkin, got a couple of nice ones. There's one there. There are a couple of smaller ones coming in here. One that's been nibbled at there. And then there's another one here, which again has been nibbled at. And then a larger one round this side. That is quite large, that one. Garlic doing well, with those couple of stray onions also doing well, and a few bits of beetroot that I put in as little exercise also doing well. So that's the raised beds, and we can move on to the polytunnel. In fact, before we do that, let me just run quickly back and turn off that water before it goes all over the cabin. So just bear with me a second and I'll be back. Well, that was a bit longer than I thought. I went back to turn off the water. The tanks are now filled, but I got distracted, and I've spent I don't know how long. It must be getting on for a couple of hours doing some animal rescue. So I'll whizzy around the polytunnel, and then I'll show you some clips from what I've been doing. Pretty incredible, really. Anyway, blueberry bush. This is like a bit of a letdown after what I've just been doing this polytunnel, but hey, we'll get it done anyway. Blueberry bush is doing absolutely fine. Lots of growth on there. It's going to have to stop growing at some point because we're into the autumn now, just about. Strawberries gone completely crazy, as have the peas, which unbelievably are all flowering. It's like a second spring for them here in the polytunnel. Have even got peas on that one. Those carrots that I put in pots doing very well. They can probably go out into the raised beds, as can probably this cauliflower, because they're looking quite sturdy plants now. The other ones are coming along quite nicely. Cucumber seems to be having a second flush as well, because we've even got flowers coming, as well as the actual cucumbers themselves, which are still coming. Squash, I don't know what to say about that. That just keeps putting out leaves but naught else. Little blueberry bush is now turning into a big blueberry bush, and the cranberry plant, I'm going to have to do a bit of research, because I am getting cranberries, look, but I'm going to have to do a bit of research on this, because I think this likes to be sat in water, and clearly it isn't, but you know, everything's an experiment. Tomatoes, I did pick some of these. I took a little video when I came down to water on Thursday, because I have got a variety of red ones and green ones. Quite a few actually in different stages. You can see there's quite a lot tucked in the forest of foliage that we've got going on. Not as many as I should have, clearly, but at least I have got some, and it is still flowering like mad. There are flowers everywhere you look, but clearly they're not getting pollinated and to produce fruit. And same down this far end again, we've got them. They're actually ready to pick. These are the strawberries that are buried. You can't even see them now. They're tucked in behind these tomatoes, and the fig tree doing very well. So that's a bit of a whistle-stop tour of the polytunnel, because as I say, I got distracted with a little rescue mission. So the clips, I did take clips as I was going round. I was just doing my normal walk around the kind of the boundary and taking a look at the different bushes and trees to see what's fruiting and what isn't, because we are heading into autumn. These blackberries over here are pretty much finished, but I've got lots of clips to show you. I'll just sort of knit those together during the edit, and we might do a little chat in the cabin as well, because the coffee I made earlier I ended up not getting, and I really could do with a coffee now. I'm literally only 10-15 feet away from this now. And the more I look at it, the more convinced I am that there's something wrong with it. I can't see any signs of actual damage, like blood or anything, but it certainly isn't comfortable doing what it's doing. And I think it has been hit by something on the road, and it just literally doesn't know what to do with itself now. So I'm going to try and get over the fence and see if I can actually get it back into the field. There's no other thing to do really, because the traffic is getting busier and busier, and if it runs into the road, it's history, I'm afraid. So I'll see what I can do, and I'll let you know later. Well, I'm gradually moving it further and further down the field towards, there's a bridleway just where that woman's crossing the road with the dog. So I'm just trying to move it further and further down. It's agonisingly slow progress though, and the traffic's just ridiculous. It's clearly moving okay, it's just like disorientated and obviously scared. But I'll keep shuffling it down anyway, and hopefully I'll get it into that clear ground and it can take off. It's dangerously close, and I'm really scared it's going to run in the road. It's moving, but it's not moving very well. I'm just waiting for a gap in the traffic and I'll try and shoo it out. Well, after quite a bit of wrestling, I've managed to get it off the road and into the field, where it's clearly not happy. It is moving, but it just looks so distressed, and I don't really know. Come on, you. Here we go. There we go. Yeah. Go on, get some down that field. I'll keep an eye on it today and see how it gets on. It might calm down a bit now it's away from the road. It's clearly a bit distressed with something going on around that side, but I can't see any sign of damage. And I have actually physically picked it up to put it over the fence, so I don't know. I'll keep you updated later, but for now at least it's safe off the road. And you, little one, probably wants a sleep or something to eat, we'll see. Well, I've brought it in and put some water out for it, but to be honest it's not happy. It's just doing this little walking round in circles. I'm going to leave it now quiet and see if it'll just sit down and relax a little bit. It's clearly distressed, and we'll see what happens later. just pulled the little red tractor out of the garage. I don't think I'm going to get any grass cut because this is really wet. But I might do some strimming later because in a couple of areas, particularly around the back of the cabin here, the grass is getting a bit long. But I wanted to just have a little look because I noticed last time I was out on this, there was a knocking noise started on this back wheel, and I'm not sure what it is. I don't think there's anything catching. I mean, there are a few bits that are quite close, battery box is quite close to the wheel, but I don't think it's that. I suspect there might be a bearing going in this back wheel. So that might keep me occupied for a fair bit of what's left of today, which, to be fair, has been a bit of an eventful day. Not a lot of work done, but a lot of messing about to be done. Anyway, so yeah, I'll have a little look at that and see if I can see what that is. But I am hoping that we get a bit of a break in this weather and it starts to dry out a little bit, because it is starting to get very wet underfoot, and this grass is starting to get a bit too long for my liking. I don't think it'll be long before autumn winter comes proper and we don't need to bother about cutting the grass, but I would like to get at least another one cut just to keep on top of it. But we'll see how we get on during the day, and there's always tomorrow. Well, it's a bit of a day today for maintenance because I've got a puncture in the wheelbarrow tyre as well, so I'm going to have that ripped off. And for some reason the strimmer doesn't want to start either, so they say it comes in threes. I've got 3 little, or perhaps not so little, jobs to do on the strimmer, tractor and wheelbarrow, which I wasn't expecting, but hey, that's life. Well, that's the wheelbarrow tyre done. Just get some air into it, get it onto the actual wheelbarrow itself. Not very high tech, this. I did have one of those electric tyre inflators, but as with a lot of cheap Chinese stuff, it didn't last more than a couple of months. So back to basics with foot pump, which at least does work. And I think we're about there. So we'll get that popped onto the wheelbarrow. There we go, job done. Just thought I'd take a quick look at the strimmer, find out why that wasn't firing up. I don't pretend to be any kind of mechanic, but I don't think you need to be to see what's up. There's not a great deal of a chance of it firing with the spark plug in that kind of condition. So I'm going to have to get a little sandpaper out and see if I can't clean this little puppy up. Well, thankfully that worked, so I can get a little bit of strimming done today. Well, I suspect that this might not be as easy a fix as the strimmer. I'm just taking a look underneath and I can't see anything obvious. I suspect it might be a problem in the actual hub itself, which means I'll have to get that wheel off, and I can't do that on on this jack, I'm going to have to put another jack under the back axle and get it on some wooden shocks to get it off the ground so I can get the wheel off. But it's all a learning exercise. Well, nothing's ever easy, is it? I've had to take the grass box off the back because there's not enough clearance to get under that that rear axle, and in fact there still isn't clearance enough because I can't get this jack underneath. It's too high, plus I need something underneath the jack itself, and I've got this scaffold board, so somehow I've got to need to raise this up a little bit by brute force so I've got enough clearance to get the jack in. And the clouds are coming. But it's all a learning curve. Learn as we go along. Well, after a little bit of cursing, I've managed to get the jack under and the wheels off the floor. So I'm going to have a little look now and see if I can't get this wheel off and take a look and see what's going on in that hub. Well, now I've got this off the ground, you can see that movement there. There's definitely a bearing of some description gone, but I'm just having difficulty getting the wheel off. It's the reach on this socket set isn't quite long enough, and as I try to turn the handle, it's catching on the tyre. So I'm going to have a little bit more of a play with this, but I suspect I might have to get another tool, which is quite apt because I was only talking about tools the other day in one of the cabin chats. So just goes to prove a point, doesn't it? Well, after a lot more swearing, we've got the wheel off, and you can see this, I don't honestly know where it is, like some kind of a stub axle. That is completely shot. I don't know how long that's been like that, but clearly it's been like it for a while, and you can see where the tyre's been rubbing. So I'll take this outer cover off and see what's inside there, but it's
well, apologies, but for some reason I've lost the little clip that I took when I was doing a temporary fix on that stub axle. So I'll describe as best I can. Essentially, the bit that's damaged is a hex nut with a sleeve on. There's no bearing in there, there's no oil in there, so it's metal on metal, which isn't a great design, to be fair. So all I've done is, because I couldn't see anything inside that casing where the drive shaft comes out of the axle, everything looks pretty much okay there. It's just that one piece that seems to be the problem. So bit of lateral thinking, I turned it upside down so that the axle itself, or sorry, the stub axle itself, the shaft, all of the pressure is on now the good piece of that hex nut rather than the damaged piece, and it stopped it moving. So I put everything back together and then gave it a test drive.
Well, to be fair, that seems to have improved it. It's not making that knocking noise, but then I'm not really moving it very far, so I think what I'll do is put the grass box back on and I'll take it for a test drive, but I definitely need to find a replacement for that part, but at least I know now what it is that I'm looking for and how to replace it. Well, to be fair, that seems to be running okay, and clearly it is cutting as well. You can see where I've been. So I'll get a quick tidy up of all the tools, because at the minute they're just abandoned over there at the side of the field. I'll get all this collected up, and it's time I had a coffee, because I've just done nothing but fiddle with job after job today. So I'll have a coffee, and if this rain holds off, I'll be tempted to just have a run across the field and see how it gets on with a bit more hard work. So fingers crossed, but I am definitely going to have to find that part for sure. I can't just keep running it like that. Well, to be fair, that's not doing a bad job, and there's an awful lot of grass. It's a while since I did this, and as you can see, it's picking it all up. So I'm going to get that chucked on the compost heap, and then I'll finish off this little bottom area. I keep promising myself a coffee, but I just can't seem to stop. So perhaps after I've cut this bottom bit I will, and I'll sit with a coffee. Well, I'm really pleased, because that's cutting well. You can probably tell by the amount of grass that's piled up. That's just from this small area at the rear of the cabin. So plenty more to do, but I've said too many times I'm going to have a coffee. I've not had one since first thing this morning when I first turned up. So I'm going to sit and have 5 minutes and drink a cup of coffee. Well, so much for the coffee. I put the kettle on to boil, and I just thought I'd take a quick look and see where my little deer is. I've deliberately left it alone all day, just to its own devices. I did leave this bucket of water for it, which is now empty, and there's no sign of it. It has literally disappeared, which is good news, because that means it's managed to sort itself out, and whether mummy's come to look for it or whether it's just gone off on its own accord, I don't know, but it ain't here. And I have wandered all the way down this woodland side, because I am going to be coming up here shortly with the tractor just to get this grass down. You can see it's well overgrown over this end. I really do need to get it down while I can. I'm not going to get it all done today, clearly, because there's too much of it, but it's only Saturday, so I have got tomorrow as well. But yeah, no sign of a deer. It has gone back to mummy, which is nice. So anyway, I am going to get back in the cabin. I am going to get this coffee down me, because I'm dying for one. And then I'll do a little bit more grass cutting before the day's finished. Well, the grass just keeps coming. There's an awful lot of it. I'll get rid of that and then let the tractor cool down a bit. It's been cutting for a fair time. I've done all the way up the wooded side of the field. Not sure if you'll be able to see that or not, but it's looking a million times better. Still lots and lots and lots left to do, but it was starting to bug me a little bit, and while it is a little bit wet, it's not too wet. It's managing to collect it in the basket rather than just clogging up. So I'll get rid of all that grass, let the tractor have half an hour's rest while I get myself in the cabin and have a little chill with a coffee. Well, I'm hot, sweaty, dirty, and I just saw my neighbour outside when I was emptying that grass, and he tells me that my head is covered in scratches, which isn't really surprising because I've not done the edit of the video yet. Clearly I'm still in the cabin, but all will become clear as I do the edit. I must have spent an hour and a half this morning on animal rescue, trying to rescue a bloody deer. Looking at it, it looks like it's a roe deer. No idea how old it is. Its back comes up to waist height on me, and I'm what, 5'9", so it's a fair size. But I was really panicky that it was going to run off into the traffic. It's clearly had a close encounter and was completely stressed, disorientated. It was buried itself in the hedgerow, and hence the scratches. I had to dive into the hedge and the brambles and physically pick it up and put it over the fence. But all's well that ends well. I've just left it in the top corner of the field with a bucket of water while I've busied myself down here at the cabin with what's been a load of unexpected chores today, hence my hot, dishevelled and somewhat scruffy appearance. The good news is Little Red Tractor's doing well. It's recovered from its ordeal and is cutting properly without what was quite a big knocking noise, I have to say. But you'll see in the edit what that was and how I fixed it. So I'm just having half an hour, cool down a little bit. I think with the combination of stress and quite a strong sun actually, although it's not warm, the sun is quite strong and it's given me a bit of a headache, all of this aggravation I've had this morning. But quite a few lessons learned in the video today on lots of different things. Certainly in terms of what I was talking about in a lessons learned video just about a week ago. Tools, when it comes to repairing machinery, as I've been doing today, it quickly becomes apparent what you have and what you don't have in terms of tools, and it also becomes quickly apparent how little I know about the bigger machinery. I can potter about with lawnmowers and strimmers and have a fair idea of what might be wrong when they're not working, but as you start to step up to the bigger machinery like the tractor, yeah, a whole different world. And though I've managed today, it's not been easy managing. You do need to have a little think about the type of equipment you're going to need, type of tools you're going to need, and also where physically you're going to be doing your sort of rolling repairs. In the field itself, that's not the ideal place to be when you're trying to jack up tractors and crawl about and start taking wheels off. But hey ho, we've managed it, and it's running as it should do. So lots of different stuff today in this video for sure, and things I wasn't expecting. Anyway, enough of me. How are things with you? How's the COVID situation working out for you? It's not looking too great in the UK. As of Monday, we've got some big restrictions again on the number of people that can gather at the same time. We've gone from, I think it was 30 that's allowed to meet, down to, as of Monday, 6 indoors and outdoors. So that's going to cause a bit of chaos. A few people I've been talking to have started to notice a little bit of panic buying again as the numbers of infections has risen. I was in the supermarket yesterday, and to be fair, apart from the pasta aisle, which was looking a bit thin, everything else seems pretty much normal. Though I guess we'll see what starts to happen after Monday as the restrictions kick in and people sit and have a little think about where they are. There's certainly a big drive on to try and get vaccines out. I was listening to a programme in the car on the way home the other day on the radio, and there's a lot of bypassing of the normal testing protocols for a couple of vaccinations that have been created and tested and manufactured through one of our big universities in Oxford. So again, it's a wait and see, isn't it? Nobody really knows how it's going to pan out. Vaccine might work or it might not. They've actually paused it this week because one of the people in the trials was ill and put into hospital, and they don't really know whether it's the vaccine that is creating the illness or whether they've just picked something up. Because these people are out and about. They're not, locked in a lab doing this testing. So we'll wait and see. But clearly, COVID's not finished. Clearly, if you're not prepping, you should be, for food at least, as we head towards winter. People are already crying and moaning about Christmas and whether we'll have a normal Christmas or not. I suspect we won't. And the disruption that's going to have on normal life. How are things across in the States? I see you've got lots of wildfires on the west coast at the moment. They're looking pretty rough, actually. I hope nobody that views the channel is affected by those. And similarly, there's lots of political activity, left versus right. Don't get me started on that, for God's sake. And as your elections draw closer in the US, it is looking rather unsettled. So I hope that you're keeping yourselves well clear of any of this protesting and demonstrating and rioting that seems to be going on. It wouldn't surprise me if we saw some of that towards the end of this year if things continue as they are now, because we've got COVID, and in December we've got the dreaded Brexit that's been rumbling on for the last 4 years. So yeah, uncertain times ahead, certainly, here in the UK and further afield. So do take good care of yourselves. Do try and stay away from the crazy people, because as I've said many times, our biggest problem in life is people and the things that they do or don't do. And just try and keep topping up on your preps. As we head towards the end of the year, who knows what's going to happen, but it's not looking very good right now. So anyway, having said all of that, I'm going to finish this coffee and then I'm going to get back out and get some more grass cut. I'll certainly not get it finished today because time's ticking by. It's the middle of the afternoon already, and but I can come down tomorrow and do a little bit more, assuming that the weather stays as it is and the grass dries out. So take care wherever you're doing, stay safe, and let's see how the edit turns out, because it's certainly a varied and full day today. Well, it's all looking very nice. All that down the side of the woodland is done, and all of this top area by the roadside is also done. So it's all looking very nice. I might just have 5 minutes just around where the car's parked, but that'll be it then for today. Time is, as usual, running out, and I certainly don't have time to do the rest of the field today. That's definitely a job for tomorrow. But we'll get the grass unloaded, and then we'll be starting to think about packing up. Well, believe it or not, Bambi's turned up again. Don't quite know why it's sitting here by the gate. It wasn't here when I was cutting the grass. It is looking a bit sad for itself, but it's clearly moving around. I don't quite know how it is. Hello, little one. But it's there. I'm just about ready to pack up, so I'll see if I can move this little critter along a little bit. I don't want to go in near the road, certainly. Well, that's another day done. Cabin's all locked up. It has been a bit of a long day today, and a lot done, which is always nice. Polytunnel's locked up. Really doesn't know what it wants to do today. This wind keeps picking up and threatening rain, but not so far. Little Bambi, I don't know, it keeps appearing. I went up to drop some stuff off in the car a couple of minutes ago, and it was stood there by the gate. I have no clue what it's doing or where it came from, because when I was cutting the grass I didn't see it at all, and it just suddenly appeared right in front of me. It's crazy. Anyway, that's the day done. We'll see if we can get some grass cut tomorrow. Hopefully the weather will be kind, and I've got a lot of editing to do when I get home, so I'll catch you later.
Well, that's it for this video, and what a crazy day it's been. I hope there was something in there that was of interest to you, and if you did like the video, please do click on the like button. Also feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, I welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. What about little Bambi? How cute was that? And what about the tractor? What a chore was that? But in the end it all worked out, and I've managed to keep it going for another day. So let me know in the comment section below what you think, and for now, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.